I have got a PhD in life. I'm spending my whole weekend in my pajamas and I'm not doing shit. You don't pay my bills or suck my dick. So like, what do I care what some random person on the internet thinks of me? And new year, new me, you gotta have some fun. God, Tim, everything you touch just like is amazing. And I want to tell that person, no the fuck it's not. I'm only trying to make one fucking person happy, and that's Tim Castleman. The hits keep on coming, the bangers, the twangers, the heat. What do they say in the club when Eric works those? Like, what are the bomb songs? What are the best songs called? What's the youths of America calling hot songs these days?
Oh gosh, you're asking me?
Yeah, you have teenagers. I don't. Yeah.
I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm feeling a little loopy, Tim,
right,
as
fine.
you know.
Yeah, I was like, look, let's record another podcast, right? Sue's, we're still in London, by the way. Sue's like, are we going to go out? And I'm like,
Are we going to go to the zoo, for God's
Yeah,
sakes?
she's still in the fucking zoo, guys. Help me find this fucking zoo, please. We are going to find it, and we will go explore it. Probably not today, right? I envision sleepy time happening. I'm like, I kind of want to go out, but also I kind of don't want to. So Sue was like, well, I have to hear about this April Fool's thing.
Oh, I can't wait.
So
I
here
cannot wait, folks.
I don't think this story's going to go how you think it's going to go. So let me ask you this. Speaking of the teenagers and the youth of America, as a 42-year-old man trying to date women, I don't understand the texting culture. So when you send to your teenagers or anybody, and you send them like the okay or like K, just with the K.
Just with the K.
Do you get any responses from them of like, are you mad at me? Are you upset with me? Are you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, here's why I asked. Because
I send that a lot.
A friend and I were texting, and I was busy at the very end of it, and I just gave them a thumbs up to what they said. And then they were like, that's like saying fuck you.
Is it?
Right. Well, this is according to her, and she's a teacher, so I felt like she would know. But she was like, oh, yeah, the thumbs up emoji is like a fuck you. And I even asked social media, I was like, is that? And it was hit or miss, so I was just kind of curious.
Okay, that's interesting.
Being the mother of teens, if this was Game of Thrones, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the mother of teens. Yes. That maybe you'd heard that from the kids. Because I know K. If you just get the K, I know that's
I have heard the K.
Yeah, right.
Okay, full disclosure, I actually am as old that I do not have any teenagers anymore. So I'm just,
Yes, I know.
Just
Sorry.
so you know.
Sorry, Eric. Yeah. Look, all right, we're at the age where you're
very
young,
old.
You're young whippersnappers.
Yeah. They're adults, Tim.
Yeah,
come on.
Right, yes.
It's funny you say that about the thumbs up because I'll sell a lot of stuff on Facebook Marketplace and, going back and forth with the Facebook Messenger, and almost like 90% of the time, they're all women buying it or picking it up. I'm always like, okay, come back, blah, 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 blah. And they always end it with the thumbs up. It's the last point of conversation.
Well, maybe.
Like, yes, I came and picked it up. Thumbs up.
Maybe it's it's up in the air. Maybe it's a thing. Yeah. But according to this teacher,
interesting.
When I sent her the old thumbs up, we had a whole conversation about, was I upset? When I was like, no, it caught me off guard. I thought I was just kind of like hey, I hear you.
I do too. Yeah. That's how I take it. But maybe, so you're saying you put the poll out and it was a 50-50 kind of thing.
I don't know if it was exactly along those lines, but it wasn't a slam dunk. But there were people that were agreeing with that. That were like, if they get the okay, or I know the K. Again, the K, if you just send the K,
yes.
that's instant death. That person fucking throws that phone away, takes their own life, or moves to a foreign country and renames himself from that sick burn. So it's just it's kind of curious. By the way, keep the thumbs up conversation in your mind as I tell you what's happening. So, oh man, how do I even get into this story? Okay, so after your boy Timmy C, by the way, one of us in this conversation is not a big fan of the name Timmy C, but I don't like the name Timmy because it makes me think I'm a child and back in trouble. But you throw Timmy C, it seems like an old, balding 42-year-old male is trying to be hip with the youth of America and the kids, right? So after my ex-girlfriend, want to be very clear about this, after my ex-girlfriend and I broke up, I decided that I would like to date and not be so serious about it, more carefree. Of course, none of this shit happened because your boy's fucking an emo. But I started intentionally dating younger women that I had no interest in having serious relationships with, women that... or at least I thought that I didn't want serious relationships with. Spoiler alert, I wanted a serious relationship with all of them. Women that I didn't want to have feelings for and love and emotion. You know, women that I guess the nicest, no, that's not even the right way to say it. Ladies who were typically single, young single mothers or college students, graduate level students, things of that level. They were on seeking arrangements. That's the best way to describe it. What seeking arrangements is, you find old, fat, white dudes, a la myself, right? And you find young, pretty ladies who would like to date you, but really they would like help with a bill or college tuition or a broken car. So you kind of come up with an arrangement, which is like, you're going to forget that I'm 42 and laugh at all my jokes, and then I'm going to pay you for the pleasure of your company with or without sex. In fact, a lot of these arrangements, as I think about, were non-sexual, which turns to be a problem, right? Or maybe a problem. Hindsight being 2020. So I didn't want any feelings. I didn't want any emotions. I wanted a distraction. I didn't have the lawsuit shit going on, but life was just kicking me in the balls, and I wanted to be a big fucking kid and run away from my problems. So I thought, you know what? Instead of getting my heart broken again like it just was, I'll go on this website. We'll have a great time. And I did. I met some amazing women, had some great experiences, but ultimately found out that the casual sex lifestyle, that's just not for... I'm terrible at casual sex. I fall in love way too easy. I'm the girl. I'm the emo one. After 3 dates, I'm like, tell me that I'm beautiful and that I'm pretty. What does this mean to you? And the girl's like, could you just leave me alone? Like, yeah. I mean, the women today, and I'm sure it's probably guys too, but obviously I don't fuck the dudes. So it's just... But like... They can totally have sex with no emotions, no feelings, no anything, leave. It's no big deal. And I'm just like, I don't know how you do that. And also this, it's a totally different realm for me. One I thought that I would be able to successfully navigate, and one turns out that, like many things in my life.
It's like a role reversal.
Yeah, crash and burn. It's very much a role reversal. And it's also weird because... as the guy, you're the prize. Like, they're seeking your attention instead of you being like, oh. So it's also weird for them, too, because it's like for the first time in their lives, these girls are like having to be like, well, why should I date you? And they just don't know how to talk about themselves and what would make them, what do they have to offer? You know, it's like, yeah, you're beautiful, but like, what else? Can you hold a conversation? Can you do anything like that, right? So had several long-term arrangements, also had several short-term arrangements. One of my longer ones, the one we'll be discussing with today, come up with a good fake name for a female.
A good fake name. Okay, let's see. How about Priscilla?
We'll go with Priscilla because it's so okay. So, codename Priscilla here, right? So Priscilla and I meet through seeking arrangements. She's a graduate student studying human psychology.
Oh boy!
Oh yeah, and I was like, okay, or maybe it's human sociology. She was just basically studying how people interact with other people and all that stuff. So we start seeing each other. It's a very casual at the beginning, but we have a great time together. You know, typically these dates, it's like we can go out to eat if you'd like. A lot of times, and the ones I prefer are like, hey, do you want to come over? Like, we'll order some food. I have weed. We can get high as shit, watch a movie, whatever, and then spend time if we want to. If not, you go on about your business. So we're meeting on a pretty regular basis. I'm delirious right now, so the dates and times escape me. But we're meeting on a pretty regular basis. Things are going great. We have amazing sex, and all systems go. And then, like any relationship, you see red flags and you avoid them, and just the way that I'm sure that she did with me. And it turns out that most women who are able to have emotionless, non-attached sex, don't always come from the best households and the best families and the best family situations. And hers, even though I still don't understand it 100%, hers was very much like that. Her mom has been in and out of jail most of her adult life on some pretty heavy drug charges.
Oh.
I don't even remember about Dad. That's not that she didn't tell me. It's just that my brain just isn't calculating at this point. And
we tired.
Yeah, and she was, she had a job, but she was struggling and all of these things. And we started getting closer, and by we, I mean I, and started, catching feelings. Because, I jokingly, but seriously say this, like, the third time we have sex, I'm going to ask you about your dog, and then I'm going to fall in love. And then, by date 4, I'm like, why are we fucking around? Let's just get married and do this stuff. So we started having more of a, I wouldn't call it a relationship, but maybe I would, who knows? I don't know what the fuck it is, but I'm starting to feel some shit, and I think she might be feeling some shit too. And then she has a mental episode. Severe depression, self-harm, cutting,
Oh, poor Priscilla.
Yeah. Really.
That's not good.
Really horrifically bad shit. I mean, just terrible, and you feel fucking helpless. So she does this a couple times.
Well, while you were with her?
While I was with her. Not while we were physically together, because that would not happen. But while we're apart. She basically would have a low moment and then, inflict pain, I think, to feel something. I don't know. I'm not her doctor. She goes to... She's a student. She goes to the student health care center for some unrelated thing.
Okay.
And the doctor notices the fresh, stab marks or whatever the fuck it is or whatever. And he's like, why don't you tell me about that? And to her credit, she tells him everything about it. And he's like, cool. He's like, you need to speak to a psychologist. And she's like, oh, yeah, I know. I've called them, and they've told me that they'll get me in 6 months. And he's like...
6 months?
He's like, no, the head of psychology is, like, in the next door. So you're going to get to talk to him right now. So they bring him in, and next thing I know, I'm getting a text message. Hey, they're committing me to this hospital for mental health for like a week.
Oh.
And I'm like, I don't even know how long. She goes, just for the foreseeable future, which to me was the right thing. Like, if I could have found this doctor, I'd have cried in his arms and been so thankful that he did this stuff. All right, guys, we're coming back. We ran out of batteries, which is good. We need a little comedy break here. So we ran out of batteries. We went and did our first exploration of London, which happened to be about 12 feet away from where we were, which is great. A little convenience store that had everything. Had cat food, had all the snacks.
It was very convenient.
Yeah, I'm making Sue talk right now because she's got a mouthful of dark chocolate and caramel. Not salted caramel.
Salted caramel, though. I did not read the label,
just
apparently.
Just regular caramel, like a peasant. So hopefully she enjoys those commoner treats. We also got Pringles, goldfish, thing of overripe bananas, by the way, and $6 batteries. So I feel like this guy probably thinks we're making some type of not smart bomb. He's like, but the guy looked at us and was like, oh, they're Americano. It's fine. Yeah.
The good news is we did find the Coke Zero.
Yes, we did. Thank God.
Very important.
But no ice in this fucking town. I'm like, hey, guys, I don't know. We didn't win back-to-back world wars so that we could not have ice in our drinks. Could we...
And they've got the teeniest little thing of soap.
Yeah.
It's like as big as a quarter.
Yeah, a 50-cent piece? I would say it's about a 50-cent piece,
I would
honestly.
say,
Yeah.
yes.
It's going to be a quarter size after the first time you use it. Yeah. Everything's smaller, apparently, in Europe, including
That's true.
The portion sizes. So I'll be down to a svelte 145 by the end of the week. So... When we last left you in the days of our lives of Tim Castleman, Priscilla, as we have called her, not her real name, obviously. Would be hilarious if you picked Priscilla as a fake name, and it was like, actually, that's her real name, but fuck it, we're going with it. So Priscilla goes to the ER to get checked out for something. I think it was COVID or cold, flu, who knows. And she's got some fresh cut marks on her from her most recent handiwork. And she takes off her jacket or something, and the doctor notices, and he's like, hey, tell me about that. And, she's not shy about it. She tells him what's going on, and he's like, yeah. She's like, and I know I need to talk to mental health, and, they've got like a 4-month wait list. And he's like, actually, the head of psychology, whoever the guy you need to talk to, yeah, he's in the room next door. So just by pure luck, this guy is there, and they talk to her, and it becomes pretty apparent, I guess, so this is all assumptions, because I just got a text message going, yeah, hey, listen, the doc's going to have me committed to the mental hospital here so we can work on some stuff. And I'm like, how long? And she's like, I have no clue. And I was like, okay. And she apparently, judging by the way she talked about this, it sounded like she had definitely been to one of these before, maybe multiple, Again, another red flag, but, the penis wants what the penis wants, right? The heart wants what the heart wants. So she gets admitted to it, and she texts me and tells me all the stuff that's going on and how she's going to be there for a while. And she's like, listen, when I go into this thing, they're going to take my phone from me, and I only get it for like an hour a day, and I don't really have anyone to talk to, and I would really appreciate if you could be the person there for me. And I'm like, abso-fucking-lutely. So the next day, I go through my day, and I document it all as if, I had a parent with Alzheimer's, being like, this is my home. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Full Metal Jacket reference for any movie buffs there. And, I go out and like get donuts. I just, whatever the day takes. And I take photos of it all, and I come up with this amazing story about it. So when she texts me at like 7:30 the next day, remember like when you were a kid and you could only talk for a limited amount of time, or they're like, okay, this is your crush and you only get to spend 15 minutes with them. Like that's how it feels. It feels like this really intense love, and like we're two captives that are somehow finding a way to get a message back and forth to each other. And I tell her about my day, and she absolutely loves it, and she tells me it makes her day, and so on and so forth. So I'm feeling pretty good about myself. She spends, I think, a couple more days there. Then she gets out. They release her. And then when they do, she's kind of back to her old habits of hanging out with her old drinking buddies and drinking too much. And, we're seeing each other, and, sometimes we're having sex, and then sometimes we're too hungover to have sex, and sometimes we're just like emotionally spent. And I remember we had this emotional conversation towards the end of our time together. And like, I just broke down crying because I was like, I deeply care about you, and I don't want you to be hurt. And like, when you see somebody in pain, at least for me, like I would do anything to take someone out of their pain like that, especially that hell. So we're hanging out, things are okay, it's good, then it's great, then it's awkward, then it's weird, then it's whatever. And then she tells me, hey, I've got my brother's wedding coming up, I don't even have gas money or a dress for this thing. And, right about now, a lot of you guys are thinking, oh, bro, she's just using you. No. Like, this is part of our deal and arrangement. And even if she was, like, it's not like she was like, can I get some crack? She's like, I want to go to my brother's wedding. And it's like, yeah, hey, I think that's kind of a big deal, So, I spring for that, like a baller does, right? No,
very nice
just
of
as
you.
a friend, and she sends me photos of her in her dress, and she's absolutely beautiful, and she's having the time of her life. And when Mom's there, and things are getting better with Mom. She's nice and clean now, and we're slowly building this relationship up. And, I think I get a text around that time of like, I just want you to know that you've done more for me than my family ever has. Real surface level shit that doesn't make you feel any type of emotional connection to that person. So she goes down south to stay with the family for a little while after this. And then a couple months later, I get a panicked phone call, and she basically tells me like, hey, I'm destitute. I need $100 to pay my storage bill there in Lubbock. If I don't, they're going to sell all my shit, and that's all I have in my life. And I get a sob story. I'm like, sure, here's $100. There you go. I give it to her. I didn't pay the storage place directly. Anytime I give money or loan, I never loan out money, but anytime I give money, I always give it with the best intention. If they tell me it's for X, I believe it's for X. If they use it for Y, that's fucking on them. They can talk to someone else about that karma thing. And then, she's gone. So, I'm sending her like, hey, thinking about you. Hey, I miss you. Hey, text. And sometimes we get responses, sometimes we don't. You know, life gets busy for both of us, et cetera, et cetera. And then probably, I'd say about 2 months ago, maybe less than that, I get a phone call at like 2:30 in the morning. And I'm like, uh-oh. And luckily for me, I'm a night owl. And my friends have always said, like, oh, you're the one guy I'd call at like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, well, good deal, because I happen to be up for this. So I get this frantic phone call again. Seems like mom has gone off the deep end and is going to be the death of her. Oh, by the way, she switched careers totally. She's now working at a veterinary clinic as a vet tech or a vet assistant, and they work on like livestock and things like that. And she's posting social media photos, and she just looks healthy and she looks happy. And that's all, I guess, you know, a guy can hope for. So when I get this call, it's kind of out of the blue, and it's like, hey, yeah, look, mom's back on the sauce, I think. And, you know, sounds like things are going terrible with that. And I'm really upset because this guy that I said nice things to me and was into me, or, you know, et cetera, he's talking to another girl, but he's texting me at the same time. And I'm like, I didn't realize I signed up for the friend zone, but somewhere, you know, not only did I get to pay for the dinner and the dessert, apparently I got to buy the hotel rooms. I'd be like, okay, so I bought this hotel room, not so we can have sex. No. Why don't you and your new friend go? And then why don't you call me afterwards and tell me about it? They didn't happen. But you know what I mean? You're just like, well, I don't know why you'd be calling me about this guy that I don't really give a fuck that he doesn't want to talk to you, because, you know, I kind of wanted to talk to you. So that being what it be, right? And that's the last time we had talked up until April Fool's, the day, no, I think it was April 1st, day before, around that time, right? We're not Perry Masoning it here. And I text her because I'm lonely and emo and I miss her. And I basically tell her, like, hey, listen, you are the highlight of my life, and you have been a great distraction for me because of all the lawsuit shit and life. And, you know, like, I look forward to us hanging out, and, like, I miss you. And then immediately after I text her that, with no emotion involved, my voice, I'm just going through puberty, that's my voice cracking up. You know, I say, hey, feel free to Men in Black yourself after this. Now, I didn't, just to be clear, in case Justin Burns is listening to this, I did not mean blacked the series of porn. That's a totally different genre that, you know, maybe one day she'll go into, but not this time. It basically was like, hey, you know, like I get it. Like, we're not really a thing, but it doesn't make me miss you less. And it's been like about a year, I guess, maybe. Shit, I'd have to check my text messages, but it's been about a year since she's been gone. And I just can't shake that feeling, you know? And it's just, I don't know, it's just, I think when you go through some critical times in your life, you have people around you, and she was one of them. And I think also part of it is like thinking back to those carefree moments when you're just like, oh man, everything seems to be going good, and even if it's not, it feels good, and all that shit. Really glad we decided to do 3 podcasts in a row after no sleep. This is the perfect emotional state to be in to tell this ridiculously fucked up story. So then I feel bad about the Men in Black text. So then I have to send an explanation text a couple hours later, and I was like, hey, you know.
Oh, the follow-up explanation
Yeah,
text.
hey, you know, sorry about that. I don't even remember what the fuck it was, but it started generating a conversation. And this is, you know, late at night, like not 2 o'clock in the morning, but I mean, we'll say after 8 p.m. I'm not going to matlock my fucking DNA sequence here, but I mean, it was later in the evening and shit like that. And we start to talk, and I don't even remember how it came up, but I was like, yeah, I have feelings for you. You know, I miss you. And I think I asked her, like, what would it take for us to happen and to make it work? And she's like, I don't ever see me coming back to Lubbock. And I was like, okay, I don't give a especially now, fuck Lubbock, right? Put the prosecuting judge and attorneys from both sides in a courtroom, burn that motherfucker to the ground, and you will get no complaints from me. So I'm not real stuck on the Lone Star State or Lubbock, Texas right now. Just to be honest with you. And I was like, what if there wasn't the distance in between us? And she was like, I'd be with you in a minute. And I was like, oh, okay. And I actually think she might have said that she'd marry me. And I was like, what? And we kind of had this back and forth where she was like, wait, you would actually date me? And I was like, yeah, not only would I date you, like, I would do anything. I'd move heaven and earth to be next to you. Like, not, I didn't say that to her, but like, I just told her, like, whatever the restriction is, like, there's no restriction on my part. If you need me to fucking show up to Antarctica tomorrow in a parka and a tutu, like, I'm game. And then she was like, oh yeah, you know, like, I'd totally date you. I'd marry you. Just like real deep shit that you don't say to somebody, apparently. So she's saying all this stuff. And, you know, I can tell she's got a little bit of a buzz on, you know, and I can tell that she's, I assume she's out drinking, you know, and I don't know what's going on, but, you know, I don't know. When you get those random, like, I'd date you, I'd marry you out of the blue text, you're just like, what the fuck? And then, so it was like, I'd date you, I'd marry you, and then I think shortly after that, follow the, oh, I love you. So I get the I love you text, right? And I'm like, whoa. Like, where the fuck is this coming from? Like, I didn't even say that. What I said was, like, why am I just now hearing about this? Because I just thought it was, you know, like so many of these arrangements are, where it's like, dude, I love you, like, you know, or I like you. I tolerate you as long as the check clears. Kidding. They don't take checks these days, kids. A little thing called Venmo. You know, as long as the money is flowing, like, yeah, sure, we can live this pretend fairy tale. But there was nothing. There was no money. You know, there wasn't a request for money. There wasn't anything. So I asked her, I'm like, where is this coming from? Like, I don't understand where this is coming from. And she was like, you don't need to worry about that, you know. And I knew it was a red flag, but I was like, well, again, you know, like, dude, you hear what you want to hear. You're hearing the right things, at least to you. I'm literally trying to rip my ear off here. I'm so fucking comfortable. So you just think, okay, well, maybe I'll put that to the side. Pretty sure I told her I loved her back. And that it wasn't fooling because it was April Fool's by that time. Like, no fooling. And I was like, if you feel like this tomorrow, sober, like you do now, let me know, and we'll make plans. We'll figure something out. She's like, you promise? I'm like, of course I promise. Because I apparently mean what I say and keep my word. So that was, fuck it, we'll call it April 1st. Late in the evening, stuff like that. I can't tell you what it's like to have somebody tell you that they love you and care about you and seem to validate your feelings. After 2 years of fucking nothingness in your life. You know, my friends come over, I hog the conversation, I talk incessantly, I talk over people, because it's the only people I get to fucking communicate with. I don't have somebody at home to talk every day and, you know, all that bullshit. So, go to bed that night pretty happy, thinking, fuck, maybe things are on the up and up. Maybe this is what I need. Maybe this is the muse. Thanks. Sorry, as I blow snot on your guys' ears. Thank you so much. Holy shit, that's a lot. Here, no. I don't need, nope. Take all. She really did, guys. There's like 25. I'll just take like.
Although I did forget the AA batteries. I'm sorry.
Good. You're good. Even my therapist is like, you can use more than one tissue, Tim. I'm like, no. You've already billed me for this one. Thank you for that, Sue. So I go to bed that night like feeling decent. Feeling better than decent. Feeling good. Like, hey, maybe things are on the upswing. I just come off a week on the road where I had the time of my life. I'm getting ready to go to London and hang out with Sue and all my friends. I got a good girl by my side now that wants to date me and loves me and cares for me. Like, all right, I might have fucked up my marriage. I might have fucked up my relationship with my ex, but, like, I learned those lessons. I took those ass whoopings, and that ain't never going to happen again because I'm going to appreciate love and the person I'm with more than anything. as I check to make sure the recorder is on, because I'm not doing this again. Maybe things are starting to switch around. And if you've listened to these fucking podcasts, like I could use a little bright light that ain't a thunderbolt. So go to bed that night, wake up the next morning to a good morning text. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay, all right, I like this. This is good. This is positive reinforcement after the previous day. I think generic, good morning, sweetheart, whatever. Hope you have a great day. Yeah, I think I even asked, like, how's the hangover? Just trying to, like, gauge. Hey, how's the hangover? She doesn't mention anything about the hangover. Kind of talk about, I don't even remember, basic level shit. Obviously don't remember it that much. You know what? But it's eating at me because it's, what about last night? So I make it about half the day. And I'm like, hey, listen, we said some crazy shit. Let me hit this mic a few more times during the critical part of this fucking story, huh? We said some crazy shit last night. I just need to know if you meant what you said. And if you did, are we ready to make plans together? So I got a text message back that basically said to the effect of like, you know what? This is going to bug. Oh, there it is. I was like, this is going to bug the shit out of me. You're welcome. Sorry for 1 second. Let me go find Priscilla's text here. Please get home safe. If you feel the same way in the morning, let's make some plans together. I want you in my life. You promise? And then I get the good morning text. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm incredibly hungover. Okay. Sorry. I get a good morning text. And good morning, how are you feeling? Anything we need to erase from our brains about last night? And this is at like 5:30 in the afternoon. I am incredibly hungover. Okay, not a good sign. I even drunk dialed Whataburger last night. Haha, I've been there. I haven't, but what are you going to say? Like, oh, hey, you've got a drinking problem, right? How was your night? And, we do some, I have a feeling it was less eventful than yours. Okay, and then I basically say, let me know if you meant sober, what you wrote me last night. If not, let me know as well, please.
You get to delete these after this.
That's good. I like the pain. I do love you very much, but I don't think I'm coming back to Lubbock, which is fine. We've already discussed that. You always have a very special place in my heart. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar, that's a polite way to tell you to go fuck yourself, right? It's a nice way of saying, I think of you like a brother. You're such a close friend. I wouldn't want to ruin anything that we had between us. What we had in the past was so special, and you'll always have a place in my heart. And then I hit her back with the, hey, I can't believe I fucking wrote this. I'm such a simp. I wasn't asking you to move here. Hell, I'd move anywhere to be next to you. But I get what you're saying without having to say it, right? That's my tissue number 2. So as you keep it at home. That's my polite way of letting her know, like, I get what you're saying, but also what you're not saying. Which is basically, I didn't fucking mean what I said last night. At least that's how I interpret it. And she didn't stop and dispute that. So after I send her that, 2 minutes later, I just need to fix myself before making any big decisions, before I make any big decisions. Priscilla, a woman who called me weeks prior to tell me about her love life and how it wasn't going according to plan, feel like that would be a decision, who moved down south to be with family, to take care of her drug addict mother and be there and get a new job and relocate and, all what I would call big fucking decisions. Having a guy who told you that he would give you his last dollar to get you out of your situation, also a big decision. But I feel like maybe possibly a little easier than some of the others. So, what do you say to that? What do you say to somebody who tells you they care for you, who tells you that they would date you, who tells you they'd marry you, that they'd love you, and then sobers up and is like, well, I just need some me time, and I just need to heal myself before I date anyone else. And by the way, I don't fault Priscilla for that. Because I have the same thought myself, which is like, I'm a broken toy. Let me heal myself first, and then I'll be ready to play with others. And the problem is, if you do that and you wait till you feel like you're perfect, one, it's never going to come. And then two, one day you're going to wake up and be like, I'm 42 years old and single. And I have friends asking me, when's the last time I've been outside? Because they're worried that I've become a shut-in. So Sue, let me ask you, what do you say to something like that? Or what do you do in that instance? And then I'll tell you what I did.
If that happened to me, something like that did kind of happen to me one time. And I just kind of, silly me, I just kind of like went on and kept saying like, why? Why would you tell me this one thing and then turn around and tell me something else? I think that was that guy I told you about. His name was Tim, remember?
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. He was the bad Tim.
Sorry for all the Tims out there that did you wrong.
Anyway, because I just wanted to know, But in hindsight's 2020. I should have just stopped. I should stop the conversation, honestly.
But I understand that because it's like, I want to know where I fucked up so I don't make that same mistake again.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. Did you continue the conversation to dive deeper into it and see where she was coming from?
Sort of. My reply to her was a thumbs up.
Oh, the thumbs up! Oh, touche.
Yeah. To which, of course, I got, are you mad at me?
Okay.
Now, what are you supposed to say there? Here's somebody that's ripped your fucking heart out. Who's told you they want to date you, they love you, and all of these things, and then soberly is like, nah, I don't know about all that.
I would have called her out on that.
I am disappointed, but not mad. I should have considered the time and your activities during our conversation and not taken them to heart so quickly. Life goes on for both of us, and hopefully we fix ourselves and find someone to love.
Wow, Tim. Now, you know how we were talking on the podcast show earlier today about how the way you would have reacted to people, like the so-called old happy Tim? Like, you never would have said that, Oh,
that's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to do was go in with both guns blazing.
Right.
And be like, how fucking dare, but...
Well, I guess it's a different kind of situation.
I care about her.
Customer, yeah.
I also feel like, tell you another situation. Not with Priscilla. Picked a good first name. Give me another name.
Let's see. This is a girl.
Another female. Yes. Yeah, all females, guys.
All right.
Fuck, Eric, if things keep going bad, I may need some help. I may be like, hey, you got any male friends around you? Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
By the way, Eric's not gay, in case this girlfriend's listening to that. I don't know why Eric popped up. He's the only male role model I have in
Definitely
my
not
life.
gay.
Yeah.
Hey, here's her name. Erica.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Not to be confused with Eric.
Totally different girl. Totally different situation. Similar situation in the fact that single mom, down on her luck, all of the things, right? I try to present myself as the white knight, shining armor, blah, 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 blah. And, she's basically living in a one-bedroom place. I think her and her child share a bed. I saw her do a video where she was wearing leggings that appeared to be ripped. I mean, they're barely making it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've lived paycheck to paycheck. I've lived in debt. I mean, she's struggling to get by. As there's a guy outside apparently rehanging a fucking door. I can hear this guy. I'm like, hey, it's 4:00 in the afternoon, bro. It's not even 4:00. It's like 2:00 in the afternoon. You shouldn't be slamming into doors like this.
It's very loud. Yes.
So, similar situation without all the drama and stuff like that. I show interest. She kind of doesn't really. And I'm like, hey, why are you struggling like this? Why don't you let someone come into your life that, didn't do time, Baby daddy's no longer in the situation. So, what would it be like if a dude stuck around? These are things I'm thinking, not saying, all of this stuff. And she writes back, oh, that all sounds great, but I don't date fat cows. Now, at that moment, I wanted to eviscerate this bitch. So much so, I was like, oh, I'm going to record a podcast about you, and I'm going to let the old Tim come out, and we're going to get fucking brutal. Like, I will have this bitch in therapy for the rest of her life by the time of this podcast. I'm going to be so brutal. I'm going to take the restrictor plate off and say anything that I want. I can be mean and be like, look, you're a single mom with one arm, with no baby daddy, no family around here. You and your daughter are, splitting a fucking bed. Like, I'm in London in the American penthouse suite, also known as just a corner room. Right now, it's like our lives are not the same, sis. I'm trying to bring you up. I'm trying to help you out. Like, I'm sure you've had some dope boys that are like, I'm going to sling some rock for you, bitch. But I'm like, no, we make real money and you don't have to worry about any of us going to jail. And if we do, you get to keep all this shit. Then she insults my looks. And it's like, hey, listen, when you match with me on Tinder, you saw my photos. I'm not catfishing you. I don't show up with a six-pack ab in the photo and then show up as me. I'm short. I'm fat. That's just how God blessed me, right? He's like, tiny dick, big waist. Gotcha. Here we go. So that is a situation where in the moment I was hot and I wanted to do it. But then I stopped myself and I said, what is the point? You're already kicking down. You're already punching somebody who's helpless. First of all, when has it ever been like, oh, yeah, this guy went in on this girl and he was totally right and justified and didn't go over the line and, didn't come off terrible at all. And then there's the other part of again, it's like, hey, you know what? You got enough struggles. I offered to fucking send the life raft, lifeboat for you. And you said, fuck you in a mean way. I just got to let you go. But both of those have occurred within the last 30 days. And the cow comment pissed me off and made me angry. The comments from Priscilla, I had a real good cry over that. And that really was painful because it told me what I already knew, which is that there's no hope for a relationship there. We're on two different life paths. She has no interest in being rescued. Right? One, she's not asking for that. Two, she's not a project. Three, I shouldn't even be dating projects or trying to do this. But that, sometimes people just aren't your people, and it fucking sucks.
So did you end up telling Priscilla how awful you felt after what she said?
No. Because...
Not to make her feel bad about it, just to make her aware, I guess.
No, I mean, like, that's the last text I sent to her. No reply.
Oh, okay.
Nothing since then. Yeah. And I thought about, just like I did with the reassurance, like, okay, listen, I'm not mad at you. I just want you to understand this is why. But
right.
She already said it without having to say it. And what is the point of having her spell it out to me? It's like, it's not going to change the income, A couple years ago, I'm all over the place, and I don't give a shit. It's my podcast. I'll be all over the place. A couple years ago, I took some songwriting classes and some lessons, and I actually hired a songwriting teacher for a year, and then I never used her because that's my favorite thing to do is light money on fire for no reason. But one of the things she taught me was you keep this little thing called a hook book, and mine's on my phone in case I ever, off myself. You guys can see some of my famous one-liners on there. And I have so many. In fact, I even started recording this podcast, not this one, but like this version of Tim Talks back when we were going through the deep shit. And I remember like sobbing into the microphone and I remember being like, oh, this is too crazy. I can't release this. Like people hear this, they're going to be like, oh, that boy's broken. We need to get him into a home immediately. So my brain is totally just stopped all of a sudden. It's just like, nope.
You're talking about the hook book.
Yeah, the hook book. Thank you. Thank you. That's why she's here to recharge my brain when the Coke Zero
I think at the beginning of each new podcast, we should start it with a hook.
The hook. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Out of the book.
So I keep these little lines that come
Darn,
up.
sorry,
They're mostly
I tried.
very sad and depressing and all that stuff. And I've had this line in my head forever. And Spoiler alert, it's very crass. So if you have any children, maybe earmuff them for a second. But it's truly how I feel. And the hook or the line is, when you pay for pussy, the love cost extra. Or the love ain't free, I think is actually what I wrote there. And that's ultimately why I stopped with seeking arrangements. It was fun. I had a great time. I met some amazing women, some of the hottest women ever. But I'm fucking terrible at casual sex with no feelings, no emotions. I want to be that emo motherfucker with you. You know, I want to do all the emo shit. Like I want to have that real relationship and that connection. And I would have gone bankrupt doing anything I could to help Priscilla in hopes that doing that would be enough for her to love me. And ultimately, it didn't work out. And I felt horrible. I feel horrible. It fucking sucks. I'm real jaded about dating and relationships and women right now. The other thing I'll tell you is this, that the one thing about seeking, in relationships like this is you get to see that, women aren't always exactly princesses. I mean, there's so many stories I could tell, and maybe we will on a future podcast. But you see the good and bad on both sides. I'm not saying I was some perfect fucking angel, but yeah. So April Fools to me, huh?
That's no joke. That's rough.
Yeah.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, well, it just happened, and I was like, I'll save that for London, and we'll. By the way, I'm Facebook friends with Priscilla, so I'm sure she's actively stalking being like, when's he gonna post about me? He always posts about his relationships. When's it gonna be my turn? And Priscilla, if you do ever hear this, know that I love you, and I wasn't fooling, and I care about you deeply. But it's pretty clear that we weren't meant to be, and I just hope you find not balance, not love. I mean, I hope you find all those things, but I just hope you find some steadiness, because I can't imagine what it must be like to go through what you're going through, and the parent drama would be enough to put me in my grave early. So, thumbs up.
What if, let's say a year from now, 2 years from now, Priscilla comes back and says, I got my shit figured out? Or do you think all the former red flags would be enough for you to be like, wait a minute, let's not rush into anything?
I would be we would be like, okay, we're having this conversation in the middle of a field at 2:30 in the afternoon with no alcohol or drugs in our system. Great. All right, let's. Sue, I honestly think if she got all of her shit together, she wouldn't even think about me or dating me. It wouldn't even be a possibility. Because if she's not going to date me at her worst, I certainly don't think she'd want to date me at her best, if you will. I mean, the fact I didn't get a reply,
I get you. Yeah.
Again, like you said, I kid glove that as much as possible. Or it was like, hey, because I know the issues she's gone through, so I didn't want to add to it. It was just like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed, and here's why. And I got nothing back. And I felt like I was doing the adult thing.
Yeah,
the adult
absolutely.
thing for her should have been like, you know what? It was totally fucked up of me. I was drunk. I apologize. Like, I won't do that in the, but.
Yeah, good answer.
You wish that.
Okay.
You want that, but you're not going to get it.
Right.
The same thing. If she got her shit together in 2 years, do you think I'm going to get a random text out of the blue? Hey, Tim, I'm so sorry for how I acted during that time. Like, holy shit, So, I don't know. It's just, yeah. It's one of the many interesting stories I have from my time on Seeking. I'm more than happy to do more episodes about that in the future, but this one hurt the most. There's another one that really threw me for a loop just because I was totally caught off guard by it. But this one definitely fucking hurt. And it's hard not to feel rejected. And for me, it's hard not to look inner and go, well, what is wrong with me? Why am I not good enough? Instead of, again, this is where I struggle with the ego stuff of like, well, maybe they weren't good enough for you. But, how do you balance that without being a cock about it, and a cunt and all of these things? So that's just my hard thing. Is like, how do you balance being like, oh, they're not good enough for me, like shoo them away, peasants, shoo them away, so.
No, but I think it comes back to what you were saying earlier, that sometimes, for whatever reason, you're two people just aren't on the same level, or I don't know how you want to word it, but, not that you're above someone necessarily, but you're just at different places.
I forget the dude's name. First name, Sean or Sean. I'm going to get so fucking canceled for this. He's a little guy. He was Joe Polish's best friend. He was a public speaker.
Oh, yes. Oh, what's his last name? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah. So he gave a presentation at, I think it was the first funnel hacking, and he gave this analogy story where he talked about talking with someone in the Coast Guard rescue, and they had like one of the highest save percentages, I believe, in all the rescue. And he was like, "What's your secret? How are you able to, how are you able to save so many people?" And he's like, "Oh, that's simple." He's like, "I just rescued the people that start swimming towards me."
Wow. And
it's like, I'm going to put this fucking life raft in the water. And if you're not going to swim towards me, I'm not coming. It's just, and again, I feel like that's tough, but I also feel like there's a point where you got to be like, hey, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I am above that person. It's,
right.
Like, and not like they're a terrible person, but it's like, yeah, I'm not going to date some fucking crackhead with 4 different kids by 4 different baby daddy, or someone that's like $1 million fucking in debt, with who I am as a person. For me, what I need to do is, try to find somebody that is at my level in terms of not a project, not someone I feel like I need to fix, so that I could love and accept exactly who and how they are in that moment. And I was willing to accept all the red flags and all the issues and give me all that shit. Give me all those red flags and all that smoke. And I'd have done everything I could have to make those disappear for Priscilla. But unfortunately, we threw the life raft out and she swam in the other direction. And that's fucking life. I mean, it sucks, but I'm still here. I get to add it to my list of things that people will be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I'm like, "Nope, all of this one day in a row. Here we go."
We'll say that's a learning experience.
Yeah.
I love it when people say that, right?
You're stronger on the other side of this. Be like, yeah, but I wanted to homicidally murder people during I think that's just, it's kind of, I think people just don't know what to say. And maybe they haven't experienced it, or I just think a lot of people don't go deep on that and don't want to feel those feelings. And apparently for me, I do. So there you go, Sue. You said you couldn't wait to hear the April Fool's story.
Yeah, I feel terrible. I feel terrible that you feel terrible about it.
Hey, at least we got a podcast out of it.
That's true.
If nothing else, guys, I will light my life completely on fire just so at the end of it I can be like, well, if they ever let me near a microphone again, I'll have a podcast for you. We'll do better next time. Hopefully my heart won't get broken in the next recording. I think I'm good on broken. I got that other one out there. We'll save that for another one. I can't give you Heartbreak Hotel 1-2. We'll save that.
We'll
one
skip
of you guys,
a couple of episodes.
Yeah, give a couple episodes. Leave a comment. If someone leaves a comment,
we want your comments.
Then I'll record the second episode about my. I mean, I have so many ones.
Tell us about your worst heartbreak, people.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah. Maybe you
see
guys
if you can beat Tim's.
See if you had a Priscilla in your life. Yeah, don't play that game with me. I promise you. Priscilla is like ground floor for me. I have a lot of broken hearts, unfortunately. So thanks for listening, as always, guys. I'm going to stop telling you we're going to keep it light and fresh on the next one. We're going to keep it fun and exciting and what's going on, but at the same time, this is a podcast about me, my life and adventures, and this is the shit I want to share for you. If it's for you, that's amazing. If it's not, check out another episode. If you checked out 2 or 3, it's not for you, hey, go find someone else's life raft. I can't save everybody. I'm not for everybody. Some people just aren't your people. And if I am, I'm grateful that you listened. I'm grateful that you comment, that you spend some time with me. If I'm not going to take it personal. And I wish you the best of luck. And if that doesn't, make you leave or reevaluate, then thumbs up to you too. Whether that's good or bad, we still don't know.